going to give a walkthrough about the eligibility criteria and about the documentation process. So please listen throughout the session, and you can post your queries on the Q&A channel. So your queries related to the joining letter, about all these, you can mail to Explore support team, but please focus on the eligibility criteria and the documentation process. Okay, so over to Kartika.
Thank you, Esther. Can all of you hear me? Esther, can you hear me?
Yes, Kartika.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Hope all of you are doing well. Like Esther said, the purpose of this session is to ensure you have a very clear understanding on the TCS eligibility criteria on the TCS onboarding, as well as to just give you a heads up on the documentation you need to complete, or the documents which you need to keep ready before you are joining. Okay, so I'm going to start with the eligibility criteria. I'm sure you are familiar with majority of these criteria at the time of applying for the job itself, because in the TCS job notifications, we have clearly mentioned these criteria, but we wanted to re-emphasize on it and walk you through this eligibility criteria. So the first one is percentage, right? So majority of you here who's attending the session, I believe, are BTech candidates or BE candidate, right? Engineering graduates, 4-year degree candidates, or PG, postgraduates, right? I know we do have a few BSc candidates here, as well as some arts graduates. Okay, so for any 4-year degree or postgraduate students, the qualification, the percentage criteria, the minimum percentage you should have throughout your academics should be 6 CGPA or 60% above. Okay, 6 CGPA or 60% above. This is same for postgraduates as well. But in case you are a 3-year degree graduates, like I said, for BSc or any arts graduates, 3-year degree arts, your percentage criteria is going to be 50% or 5 CGPA. Okay, now in your CGPA should be 6 CGPA or 60%, as well as in your provisional certificate or post completion, the first class should be clearly mentioned. Okay, so we have noticed like there are some cases wherein the candidate is having 6 CGPA, but in the provisional certificate it is mentioned as second class. Such that is clearly an ineligible case. The candidate should have 6 CGPA or 60% and above. Also, in the provisional certificate, it should be clearly mentioned you have scored first class in your highest qualification. Not second class, first class must be mentioned in the provisional certificate or degree certificate or post completion letter. Okay, so that's about the percentage. And highest qualification, here we have just mentioned about the 4-year degree courses, but irrespective of your highest qualification degree, or whether you have done your BTech or BE or some other engineering courses or 4-year degree courses or postgraduate courses or 3-year degree courses. Okay, irrespective of the highest qualification you have done, it should have been done by an AICTC or UGC recognized universities or colleges. No distant education, no open schooling, no open universities. Okay, it should be the college or university must be recognized by AICTC or UGC. Okay, only those candidates coming from such colleges or universities are eligible to join TCS. Now, the key important documents you need to have with your highest qualification or in all your academics are your mark sheets as well as your course completion proof. So here we are especially speaking about highest qualification. Your course should have been completed. Okay, I'm sure all of your 2024 pass out candidates, I'm believing that by now your course has been completely done. No practicals, no viva, no research work pending, internship if it's there, it should have been completed. Okay, everything should be completed. you should be having all the semester mark sheets available in your hand. Um, if not original mark sheets, at least the web copy of the results must be available in your hand. Or if you have consolidated mark sheet, that will also suffice. And a course completion letter or a provisional certificate. But so we prefer you have your provisional certificate keep ready in your hand, because it's November. By now, the majority of the universities, colleges would have issued your provisional certificate. So provisional certificate submitting or having a provisional certificate is encouraged in case you're not or your university has not yet issued it. Keep your course completion letter ready from your college or university. Okay. Now, since you should have all the semester mark sheets, all the results should have been published. You should also ensure you do not have any backlogs in your highest qualification. Okay, that's what the next eligibility criteria speak about. There shouldn't be any backlogs pending currently, okay, at this point of time. Any backlogs you had, you can have backlogs, maybe you were having backlogs. It should have been cleared by the final semester. Okay, no backlogs should have been written or attempted or cleared after your final semester. That is considered as an extended education. Okay, so any backlogs you had, you should have cleared it by the final semester. Anyone who has not cleared your backlogs by final semester are ineligible to join TCS. Okay, you are not eligible. It should have been cleared by final semester. Any candidates who have written an arrear exam and waiting for result, or you are yet to write backlog exams, all such cases, the candidates are ineligible to join TCS. Okay, so like I said, we need to speak extended education with respect to this backlog. Okay, so when you write a backlog after your final semester, it means that you have not completed your course within the stipulated course duration. Okay, so which means you have extended your education, and such candidate will come under the category of extended education. So extended education also is not allowed in TCS. Any candidate who has extended their education due to backlogs, you have written an exam after your final semester and cleared it, such candidates are ineligible to join. Extended education is clearly not allowed in TCS. Okay. So these are the first 4 criteria points. And then coming to, so far we discussed about the highest qualification and percentage. Now coming to the next eligibility criteria, which is gap. Okay, so when we say gap, it is your academic gap, educational gap. So how do we actually calculate whether we have a gap? You need to check what's the aggregate gap period from your 10th pass out year up to your highest qualification pass out year. Okay, your highest qualification pass out year is going to be mostly April, May or June 2024, right? So between your 10th pass out and highest qualification pass out year, you shouldn't be having more than 24 months of gap. Okay, so the allowed gap is 24 months. Up to 24 months gap is fine, but it shouldn't be more than 24 months. Okay. So this is one eligibility criteria on the gap. Now here I also want to emphasize on a couple of other points. Usually we notice that this usually we see in postgraduate students, wherein after the UG, okay, after they complete their degree, they go for some candidates go for an employment. Okay, they work as an full-time employee in some organization, and then they go for a postgraduate program. Okay, so but system usually where you will upload all these BGC documents, or we consider that as it is usually considered as a gap. However, since such candidates were a full-time employee in some organization, that is actually not a gap, provided the candidate is having an experience letter or a relieving letter or a resignation acceptance letter from the that company, that previous organization. Okay, so if you have work experience, you should mandatorily have that experience letter with you. If you have worked between your education, if you have the experience letter, that's not considered as a gap. Okay, but if you do not have that experience letter or any proof to provide, then again that will consider as a gap itself. Similarly, course discontinuation. In case anyone has went on to join some regular courses and then you halfway through you discontinued it and then you completed the current highest qualification, it is not actually considered as a gap because you are not sitting idle, you were studying. So that time what you need to keep ready is some proof of your course discontinuation, like maybe mark sheet from the discontinued course or transfer certificate from the discontinued institute. If you have, you can collect such documents and keep in your hand. So as and when you were asked to upload the BGC, you can upload such documents instead of your gap affidavit or something. Okay, so eligibility criteria for gap is like up to 24 months gap is allowed. Work experience between studies and course discontinuation between studies and all is not considered as academic gap provided you have the proof. Okay, now I'm also I mean, some of you might be having this question like, okay, now it's November 2024, no, sorry, October 2024. We are going to end, it's October. What about the gap between my highest qualification ending month and till now, right? From June till November, I already have 4 or 5 months of gap. So that gap is not considered as an academic gap because that is after your highest qualification. We don't usually check that. Okay, so your gap is going to be, I mean, it's going to be checked only between your 10th pass out year and up to highest qualification year. Okay. So that's about your academic gap. And the next eligibility criteria is about the course type. This is very obvious that only full-time courses are considered in TCS. No distant universities, no part-time, no correspondent courses are allowed in TCS. You should have been completed your all your education, okay, academic programs from a recognized university or school, and it should have been done as a regular student, no part-time student, no distant education. Okay, and coming to open schooling, so we just highlight this open schooling. It's applicable only for 10th and 12th. Usually these days we don't see a lot of open schooling, but in case anyone has done their 10th and 12th, only 10th and 12th, okay, no UG, no PG. If you have done your 10th and 12th from National Institute of Open Schooling, then that's okay. Such candidates are eligible. Okay, this is only if you have completed your 10th and 12th through open schooling. But if you have done your UG and PG program through an open schooling, such candidates are ineligible. Okay, we don't consider. You should be a regular student in a recognized university or college. Okay, so that's about open schooling. And coming to the work experience, as previously discussed when we were speaking about this, when I was speaking about this gap, any work experience, by now at least some of you will have 1 or 2 months of experience, at least you should have joined some other organization, right? So anyone who's having a work experience before joining TCS should be first, whenever you are going to get a joining letter, okay? So first thing, in case you are planning to leave the organization, you should have been you should get properly relieved, properly serve the notice period, intimate your HR or manager, and then you should be relieving from the organization. You should have a proper experience letter or a relieving letter or a resignation acceptance letter from your company HR or manager. Okay, it is mandatory, and the experience letter or relieving letter you are submitting or resignation acceptance letter you are submitting must have your joining date, especially the last working date. Okay, the last working date should be clearly mentioned in your work experience proof. It's very mandatory that in case you are an experienced person, you are submitting your work experience proof. And also in that proof, your joining date as well as your last working day is updated. Okay. So, Esther, do you want to pause here and ask or clarify some queries, or we can move on to the documentation part?
You can move on, Kartika.
Okay, so far I guess you guys are clear on the eligibility criteria part. Now I'm just going to show one more slide on what are the BGC documents, some documents you need to keep in ready in your hand for BGC. Okay, so you can see I have actually divided this screen in, this slide into two sections, right? ID proof and academic documents, which are called set one documents, and some other joining documents. So at this stage, since none of you have received a joining letter, you don't need to worry about the joining documents. Okay, which are non-criminal affidavit, medical certificate, necessary. We are not going to talk about that also now, because as and when you get the joining letter, we will again have a very detailed session and will instruct you how to prepare these documents and all. Right now, you need not to worry about these documents. Okay, your non-criminal affidavit, medical certificate necessary, but I will explain you what it is in a 1 or 2 sentence, just for your information. Right now, you don't need to worry about it. We will discuss about set one documents. Okay, so you need to keep these documents ready in your hand, so that whenever, as and when you get the joining letter, you can immediately submit them. Okay, so the first document is your 10th, 12th diploma documents. So I'm sure all of you have these in your hand, right? Your 10th mark sheet or certificates, 12th mark sheet or certificates. In case anyone has done a diploma, your diploma mark sheets and diploma certificate must be available in your hand. Birth certificate. Okay, this is for your date of birth proof. So you should be, you can either keep ready, you can keep your government issued birth certificate in your hand, but in case you are using that government authorized birth certificate, your name should be available in English. Okay, we see a lot of original birth certificate wherein it is updated in a regional language, or the name itself is not available. Okay, such documents are not acceptable. You need to have a birth certificate issued by government where your name is updated in English. English and regional language, both available, both language, if it is updated, it's all right. Only in regional language, it is not acceptable. If it is not there, you can also use your 10th mark sheet or passport as a date of birth proof. Okay, your 10th mark sheet, all of you will have your date of birth updated in the 10th mark sheet, right? That you can use, or your passport, your original passport also can be used for a date of birth proof. In case you are unable to provide any of these documents, you can actually go to a nearest notary and purchase a 100 rupees stamp paper and prepare a birth affidavit. This affidavit, there are no formats for affidavits. You can prepare according to your convenience, but it should be prepared in English, and your name and date of birth should be available. You should be notarizing the document. Okay. So this is just for your information. I am not asking you to prepare a birth affidavit right away and submit it. It's just for your information, so that as and when you receive your joining letter, you are aware that this is what you need to do. Okay. So once again, your birth certificate for your date of birth proof, your either your government issued birth certificate or your 10th mark sheet or passport or a birth affidavit prepared in a 100 rupees stamp paper. Some of you will have to prepare some more affidavits. That's what in the third point it is mentioned, some more affidavits. So any affidavit you are going to prepare for TCS onboarding, please note 2-3 points, that any affidavit you are preparing, it should be prepared in a 100 rupees stamp paper or more value. Minimum stamp value is 100. You can use 200, 500, 1000 rupees stamp paper, no issues. But in case you are using lower denominations like 50 rupees stamp paper you are using, it should be prepared in a 250 rupees stamp paper or 520 rupees stamp paper. Or 10 rupees stamp paper. So the aggregate value of the stamp must be 100, minimum 100. Okay, you can use affidavits for TCS onboarding purpose using a regular stamp paper or e-stamp paper. Okay, you can use e-stamp papers, or you can go to any nationalized bank, and if you pay 100 rupees, they will give you a franking stamp. Okay, franking of 100 rupees or cancelled revenue stamp of 100 rupees. Okay, regular stamp or e-stamp or franking or a cancelled revenue stamp of 100 rupees can be used. And any affidavit you are preparing, it should be prepared in English, no regional language. It must be prepared in English, as well as there should be notary seal available in all the pages of affidavit. Okay, irrespective of how many pages it is going to be, all the pages, the notary seal must be available. Okay, so we are going to see what are the affidavits. The next affidavit is name change affidavit. So in case you have officially changed your name, or we have seen after marriage, sometimes the surname gets changed, right? So in case your name has been officially changed, in your documents, if the name is different, two different documents, two different names updated for a single person, you need to prepare a name change affidavit. Initial abbreviations are not name change. Okay, initial abbreviations are not change, not name change. First name, last name interchange is not name change. Okay, so only if you have officially changed your name, or after marriage, if your surname gets changed and it's been updated in any of your documents, then you need to prepare a name change affidavit. There is no standard format for name change affidavit. It's just that you need to prepare that in English and you need to follow those conditions like the stamp value, stamp type, language, all those things needs to be met. Otherwise, you can prepare the affidavit in any format you want. Okay. Now, another affidavit is address proof affidavit. We have lots of documents you can use as an address proof. I will explain that later. But in case you do not have any documents to provide as an address proof, you can simply go to a notary and ask them to prepare an address proof affidavit in a 100 rupee stamp paper. Okay, that will serve as a proper address proof, a valid address proof for TCS onboarding purpose. Okay, now a gap affidavit. We have already discussed about the gap, right? So any candidate who's having a gap of more than 6 months, maximum allowed gap is 24 months. We already discussed that, but any candidate who are having a gap of more than 6 months of gap, then they are only supposed to prepare a gap affidavit. So what is the 6 months of gap? So this is an aggregate gap, okay, between your 10th pass out year and highest qualification pass out year. So we all of us will have that 1 or 2 months of gap between your 10th and 12th, right? You will be awaiting your results or you are taking admission to your next course, right? So that 1 or 2 months of gap between your 10th and 12th or 12th and UG and PG. So that gap consolidating together up to 6 months, usually we don't consider it as a gap. Okay, so any gap, aggregate gap beyond 6 months throughout your academics, okay, you need to prepare a gap affidavit in a 100 rupee stamp paper. There is no standard format for gap affidavit also, but whenever you're preparing a gap affidavit, you need to make sure that your from and to, like from when you had that gap until when you were having that gap, and the reason for the gap also should be clearly mentioned in the gap affidavit. Okay, that it should be clearly mentioned and you need to notarize the document. Okay, so these are some of the affidavits. Again, I am emphasizing on the documentation part. I am not asking you to prepare all these documents now because, like you know, that joining letter is issued based on the business requirement and these affidavits are having a validity of 6 months. Okay, so do not prepare the affidavits now. It's just for your information we are explaining this. Okay. Now coming on to the ID proof, there are 3 mandatory ID proofs are required. First one is your PAN card. So PAN card, you can use your regular original PAN card or minor PAN card is also acceptable. E-PAN card is also acceptable. Okay, either your minor PAN card or e-PAN card or regular PAN card. But anyone still carrying a minor PAN card, I insist you to just go and change or convert it into a regular PAN card. Okay. Now e-Aadhaar card. See, this is actually when you join, we would need your latest downloaded e-Aadhaar card. So just you keep in mind, we are not looking for your regular Aadhaar card. You can upload your e-Aadhaar card after you receive a joining letter. Okay, so e-Aadhaar card downloaded from your UIDAI website is what we are looking for. Okay, and passport. So passport, if you already have the passport, well enough. If you don't have the passport, please apply for it. Okay, and try to get the passport. In case you do not have the passport, you can also use passport application acknowledgement slip. Okay, either passport or passport application acknowledgement slip is also you can use that for your BGC purpose. Now coming on to address proof. Address proof, there are lots of documents. If you go and check your Nexta portal itself in the FAQs, you will notice that a lot of documents are updated as those which can be used as an address proof is updated. Some of them are like your bank passbook or your any ID proof, government ID proof other than PAN card. Okay, PAN card we don't accept as an address proof. It doesn't have your address. Other than that, your regular Aadhaar or e-Aadhaar card or passport, voter's ID, driving license. Okay, any government ID proof other than PAN card or any postpaid bills you can use. Okay, in case you do not have any of these documents, you can also prepare an address proof affidavit in a 100 rupees stamp paper and use it. Okay, so that's about the address proof. Coming to experience letter, we have discussed this also previously that anyone having an experience, work experience prior to joining TCS must be having or carrying your experience letter or leaving letter or resignation acceptance letter from your previous employer. Okay, this experience letter must contain your start date, your joining date, as well as your last working day. And internship is not considered as a work experience, so we will not ask for an experience letter for those who have done an internship. Internship, trainee, apprentice, right? These are all term used for your internship type of right work. So for internship, we don't ask any experience letter, so you don't need to provide any proof. Also, TCS never allows to transfer provident fund. Okay, so please note that in case you are planning to resign from your current organization or you have already resigned from your previous organization or something, or whenever in future you are planning to resign before joining TCS, ensure that your provident fund account is closed by your previous employer. Okay, you need to go to EPFO portal and check if the exit date has been updated in the EPFO portal, in your EPFO portal. It means your provident fund account has been closed. Okay, TCS doesn't allow transfer of provident funds. Before joining TCS, you should be closing your already active provident fund. Okay, if a UAN is present, that's all right, no issues, but provident fund account should be closed. Okay, so that's about your work experience. Now coming to your pre-highest qualification and highest qualification, this also we have already discussed, right, when we are speaking about the eligibility criteria. So your courses should have been 100% completed. You should have all the semester mark sheet and your provisional certificate or course completion letter should be available in your hand. There shouldn't be any backlogs. We will not allow any backlog cases. We will not allow any candidate who are having an extended education. Okay, so you shouldn't be having any such backlogs or extended education in your highest qualification. Okay, so with that being said, these are the first set of or very important BGC documents, which you can actually, if in case you have not collected these documents so far, you can actually collect them or prepare them and keep it in your hand so that as and when you get the joining letter, you can go ahead and start submitting the documents. Okay, now the next set of documents are joining documents. You see, it is already mentioned there that it needs to be prepared only after getting your joining letter. And in the next portal also, you will get the option enabled for uploading these documents only 15 days prior to your date of joining. Okay, so I'm not going to explain in detail about this, but I can just give you an information that non-criminal affidavit usually we prepare to ensure that you do not have any legal cases or legal case history in your hand. Okay, so you shouldn't be having any legal cases in your name, or you shouldn't be having any case history also in your name for joining TCS. Okay, it can be criminal case or civil case, but you shouldn't be having any legal cases. Medical certificate, again, you don't need to worry about that now. You just need to prepare only after getting the joining letter. Okay, NSRE card, National Skill Registry card. So it is mandatory to have NSRE card for all those who are joining TCS. In case you already have and are holding an NSRE card, well enough. Otherwise, you can apply for NSRE card and then collect your NSRE card. Okay, so it's very easy. Just browse by National Skill Registry and apply for it. I guess within a couple of weeks you will receive your NSRE card. Okay, in case NSRE card is not there, you can also submit your NSRE application acknowledgement slip. But since none of you are yet to get your joining letter, you have enough time to apply for an NSRE card and keep your NSRE card ready. Okay, so these are some of the important documents as part of BGC you need to prepare, and we will also, or you will also be required to prepare some other documents, but the information of which will be shared to you only after you receive the joining letter. Okay, so we are going to meet again after joining, after getting the joining letter. We will have a very comprehensive session again on what you need to do, where to upload, what other documents you need to prepare. Okay, so right now we just wanted to walk you through the eligibility criteria. We just wanted to make you understand these are the documents you need to keep in ready in your hand, so that you have enough time to prepare them in case you are not already having it. Okay, so I hope all of you are clear on what needs to keep in ready, and you are clear on the eligibility criteria. Hope this was helpful. Yeah, so I guess that's all from my end, Esther. I guess if you want to address some queries, we can address it.
Thanks, Karthika. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, Karthika, we got a few questions from candidates. So Esther would ask a couple of questions. You can answer that. Yeah. So thank you all for joining. I think many candidates have joined, and very happy to see all of you joined this session. Many of you have asked about the joining letters. We understand that you're very eager to join TCS, but please understand that joining letter and onboarding is a continuous issuance of that is a continuous process, and we don't onboard everyone at once in a particular month or a quarter. It's like a monthly basis, quarterly basis onboarding. So let's say every month we onboard 1,000 or 1,500 kind of candidates, and then it's go on, and in a quarter and then next quarter. So that's the way it is. Okay, so you should all have some patience. Everyone will get joining letter. That is assured, 100% sure that you will all get a joining letter, but it's a phased activity and process. So that is what I can give you, and many of you are asking for a tentative date, specific date where you will be getting a you can get a joining letter, but that is not possible for a particular person. We cannot specify, but one thing I can tell you that your explore learning is very important, and if you really learn, complete your courses, ascend courses, hackathons, including IPA. IPA is very important. We have 7th number IPA, so it is very important, especially for the technical candidate, ninja and digital candidates. For non technical candidates, that is optional. I think not optional. I think IPA is not required. Okay, yeah. For example, MBA and other category. So regarding JL, I can see many questions, but as I said, it's a phased activity. We are continuously onboarding, and you will definitely get JL, and you should have patience. But prioritization, definitely the first level priority is given for people who complete IPA, clearing IPS, clearing hackathons, completing explore learning, and ascend for courses. So we continuously monitoring and your explore learning progress. We give you feedback regarding your progress, and we are continuously sharing you information regarding that. Please do learn and complete the courses while you're waiting for getting your joining letter. So that is all about joining letter. So please, those who have registered for the IPA for 7th November, please plan and complete that IPA test. And that is just basically an indication of your interest, and again an opportunity to check your knowledge and prepare for you become TCS ready, ILP ready candidates. Yeah, that's it. Yes, sir. You can take a couple of questions and ask to Kartika.
Yes. Thank you, Sham. So, Kartika, here we have a question. If I have a backlog in my 8th semester, but it was cleared in the reevaluation, I have both mark sheets.
So
So
revaluation
they
is fine. It means that the candidate has not attempted the exam again. So the person can use the revaluation mark sheet.
okay. And then some candidates say that they don't have this class mentioned in their university. I have a 8.7 CGPA, but in our certificate we don't have class mentioned. Will that be a problem?
That's
That's
not a
what they.
problem. That's fine. If the
Okay.
university has a standard template where the class is mentioned, that class must have first class mentioned. So I just wanted to add here, I just saw a question where a candidate is asking, I'm having a percentage of 59, but my CGPA, when it is converted, it is 6. But such candidates are also not eligible because your percentage should be 60 or more than 6. When it gets converted, it should be 6 CGPA or more than 6, and your class also should be first class. Okay, so percentage, CGPA, your class mentioned in your provisional certificate, all the three should be 6 CGPA or 60 plus first class.
Okay.
Yeah.
My CGPA is 6.49, but it comes under second class. Am I eligible?
No, this is what we discussed. Such candidates are not eligible. Yeah.
Okay. I have 54% in class 12th, but 80% in my improvement exam. So I can upload my improvement exam
Yeah,
or
they can
both my
upload their
mark
improvement.
sheet.
So
Yeah.
see, whenever we are asking them to upload this upload their BGC documents, they can upload their initial mark sheet as well as the improvement mark sheets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kartika, can you just even tell them about the fake calls and emails which they receive? So
We are not
TCS would
sending any
never.
calls. Right.
So see, TCS would never ask you for such details. So please be aware. No, please ignore such calls and don't provide any sensitive of personal information like your bank account, login, password, ATM PIN number. See, even if the person claims to be a TCS employee, please don't share these sensitive information. So because TCS would never ask for such details. Okay. And I have another information on October 29th, Tuesday. You'll have a session exclusive technical candidates. You'll have a session for exclusively for IPA mock assessment. A technical faculty will guide you on how to prepare for your IPA. He'll walk through a IPA sample mock question paper, and he would uh, give you steps on how to crack this IPA. So please do join that session. Is on October. The details would be posted in your common community. This is for technical candidates, digital ninja candidates on October 29th, 4 to 6 p.m. So please do join. Your hall tickets will be you'll be receiving your hall tickets maybe 3 days before the exam. So if it is on November 7th, I think by 4th or by November 1st, you would receive your hall tickets. Okay. Is there anything else? Kartika, just give me a few minutes. I'll just go through the questions.
Okay.
I think most of the questions are clarified. Okay. So that's it from my side. Anything else you would like to share?
Nothing from my end. I hope the session was helpful to understand the eligibility criteria as well as the documentation process. Anything else, Shyam, Parna?
Karthika, I think there are many queries regarding their mark sheet and documents need to be uploaded. I think, yes, sir, if you can take maybe 2, 3
Yeah.
more questions and then we can close.
Okay. I have submitted the BGC or next step portal, but I'm not able to edit it. How can I edit that?
Yeah, so right now you need not to worry about your BGC documents or editing them in the next step portal. You will be able to edit them only after you receive a joining letter. I hope I answered it.
Yes, Kartika.
Yeah.
So you will not be able to edit it. So upon joining, then you can update your details.
Right.
Yes, Mithun? I'm just checking for some questions, Kartika.
Okay.
Okay, I think most of them.
Yes, sir. I think I got one query here.
Okay.
I'm not able to log into Explore, and I have not registered it. See, dear all, if you have any issue logging to Explore, you can send an email to Explore support, explore.support@tcs.com, and we will directly connect with you and resolve your login issues. Okay, so please feel free to send an email to Explore support if you are facing any trouble logging to Explore platform. Thank you.
Okay. So Kartika, maybe we can consolidate these questions later, and then if you have any doubts, team, please mail to Explore support team, and that's it, Kartika.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
what we can do, I think we can consolidate
prepare
this question, and
yes.
maybe one another connect we can plan where we can specifically address, you know, the most important questions. Okay, so we can plan one. Yeah.
Okay. I guess we can wind up, Esther, then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.